me, yeah, maybe just quick introductions. Okay, now I need to be formal because it's record now. So, so, um, so yes, I just recently launched the small funds in which that we focus a lot on like the GenAI first startup, our early stage mostly, and then we wanted to invest in the startup at the early stage in South Asia, and it is still new at the moment. We are actively deploying and also actively looking for the startup, to back them and then to support them via the different activity, or like such as like AI working hour or like speed dating. So basically, we just want to have this startup, back them and provide them what they need for their either fundraising journey or just like the startup journey in general. And a little bit about me is that yes, like you mentioned, like previously I with AWS, and then after that, I decided to leave to follow my passion in the startup world, and then currently pursue that dream, and hopefully so after AWS I actually together with a group of friends, and then we fine-tune the Vietnamese language model. So our model is really ranked number 3 for the Vietnamese language. And then, after that, we also talk a lot with the VC, and then we receive a lot of feedback from the VC that, how unfamiliar they are in this space because it's relatively new. That's why we decide like, hey, why not just, or like I decide like, why not just, had a specialized VC that we only focus on back this kind of startup. So make sure that they don't go through what I go through. So that is the story, long and short.
That's quite correct. Yes. What about you, Hieu?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Hieu Tran, founder and CEO of TopCV Vietnam. Yeah, thank you team and Mr. Giang invite me to join event meeting today. And quick introduce about TopCV and me. We found TopCV in 2016, focusing on HR tech industry. We own Vietnam leading online recruitment platform TopCV.vn with over 8 million users and 100,000 business to hiring people in Vietnam. Alongside this, we had a digital ecosystem for HR transformation, including hiring.ai, the newest product focused on recruitment management system, applicant tracking system, and testcenter.vn for online assessment platform, and happytime.vn focus on managed attendant, payroll, and employee experience. And now TopCV has received funding from angel investor to domestic and foreign investor fund from Korea and Japan. Most recently, we accomplished Series B round from Minavi Corporation, is the number 2 HR corporation in Japan. Yeah. Hope to be share about how we can attractive fund, or something like that.
Congratulations for the Series B. So is no chance for Laura maybe? Series B already, Laura. But he said that he is splitting off some new subsidiaries, right, with AI technology. So I think we should have a coffee together.
Yeah, exactly. And then exactly kind of like, the
I'm just
coordinator, the agents.
Yeah, observator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to join the deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's back to the subject, why founders need VCs. So this is the first question to Laura. So from your points of view of a VC, not as founders, why founders need you?
Yeah, so I think that actually this is one of the I think the first lessons when, let's just say, previous life or like before before I actually become or like join the VC. It is actually a really big question, or like the lessons that we were taught actually in universities. When I studied entrepreneurship, they also like, why startup need VC, and this is like literally like from the book what they say. So they, you know, like for the startup, your journeys, you win because it's not that easy and it's not that smooth. You basically like build something that other people may not build before. And then because of that, you need a lot of support. You need the support from like the financial support, which is like the funding to help you to fund your teams at the early stage. So that of you can, you know, like pay for like salary and so on, like the office. So financial support for sure. And then after that, you also, you know, that is a ideation stage. And after that, when you start like expand as well, or like when you start grow, you also need the capital over there so that you can grow. But most importantly, when you start like expand your business, and then you start like, let's just say like you sell to your clients, and then your clients don't know who you are. And then, you know, where you're from, so like talking both from like B2B or B2C perspective, so they don't know who you are. And then by having someone back you, which is like the VC in this case, basically it's just like kind of, you know, a stamp or check marks to tell the people that hey, these people are doing something legit, right? Because of, you know, like, oh, in order for you to receive the funding, you actually had to go through the DD process, which is like due diligence. And then, you know, the VC and like any like of the investor basically like check vesting you 3 months, 6 months already. I'm sure that you know, and Hieu from TopCV can like experience that the feeling before you raise fund and after you raise fund, like beside the, you know, capital and financial support. So I think that that is the second thing. And then the third thing is that, sure, you know, as a VC, we want to back the founder who know exactly what they want and how they do that. But oftentimes, when a lot of the change in the technology and so on, people get lost, right? People get lost. You don't know like which direction you should go to. How do you expand? Like for example, let's say TopCV decide to go outside Vietnam, which is I think you are. And if you go outside of Vietnam, you are not familiar to that market. You will need kind of mentor, right, to tell you that hey, you know, I know this person, that person in that market, I can help you. And it's just one connection like that. It worth like thousands or like $100,000 instead of you just like randomly go in. So yeah, I think like this one is pretty clear that you know, financial support, the reputation support, or like the check mark, and the last one is just like mentorship support as well. And when I'm talking about mentorship, it could be a lot of things. It could be just, you know, like peer mentorship. It could be just, you know, like board of director. They can help you to hire someone for your team as well. So it is really like a lot. And I think that yeah, I think maybe at the beginning people look at the financial only. And there is reason for it, right? You need to be able to, like, you don't have to worry about money, so you can build. But then later on, when you grow, you start like seeing way more. And I'm talking about from like the both of experience at the startup founder and the VC as well. Yeah.
Thank you. What about you, Hieu, from the view of a founder? And I think you have investor from the day zero, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe in your family. But after that, I think you work very closely to the investor and VC. So what is your opinion?
Yeah, I totally agree with Laura. I think that we need for founder we need to make sure you have a strong business before think about how to raise fund from VC. Yeah, I think that when you want to scaling your business your startup, you need require a significant fund. And I think VC can provide more necessary resources for grow up. Yeah. Example, when startup needs expanding operation, hiring talent, and invest in technology, needs more money. Yeah, is the first. And the second, VC bring a more intensive network that can help you raise fund in next round, and help you to introduce you to other investor or partner, or help you to understand about new market, new product. and competitor. Yeah. So I think VC not bring to you not only money, yeah, bring more value. And after startup receive funding from VC, I think more startup with uh credit credibility about and brand will improve. Just make it easy to hire more talent, hire more maybe is
Yeah.
the most important level in company. So I think when startup backed by VC, startup needs more to grow in the future. Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
startup
that's
need
correct. So
VC. Yeah.
again, with you, you are one of the limited case, one of the rare cases who can raise easily or
Yeah.
easier than much a lot of others startup who is not really lucky as you. So how do you feel about the size of the VC market? In Vietnam, is it enough for the startup or is it too narrow?
Yeah, for this type.
Yeah, for Vietnam.
Yeah. I think Vietnam right now has more VC from seed fund to VC fund or PE. I think many startup in Vietnam can easy to connect and pitching with VC in Vietnam or regional Southeast Asia. But I think startup needs more about improve about strong business model first. After think about how we can raise fund from VC. I think it's easy to raise fund from VC if you have a strong business model, has revenue, can be scale up and make profit. Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Laura? How do you feel about the can say VC market in Vietnam when you join the local market?
I would say that like in the past, right, we thought that like startup we need a VC, and like so you can look at the VC and say like, hey, this is where money is, and so many startup, and it's just like you thought that more startup and then less VC. Right. But then when you start joining VC, you actually see like actually VC also very much need startup. Like it's so many investor right now. And
I see.
yeah, and then for the investor, right? They when I talking about like startup here or investor here, we all looking for like potential investor, and like we all looking for like, hey, when is the next like TopCV coming out, right? Like how do I spot them at the very early stage? Like how can make sure that I work with them like I am the first one to write a check to them, or some of them who invest in it at a bit later stage, they will be like, hey, how can I make sure that I secure the next round with them and make sure that they can like 10x something like that. So I will say that even though that we don't see like a crazy number of the startup receive the money from the VC yet, but in the VC side, we also say that we actually don't see enough the startup pipeline yet, so that we can actively deploy and we can't just like deploy randomly blindly, just like throw the money here and there. We can't, right? We all of the VC, we had their mandate. The fund also have their, like, at the end of the day, they're supposed to have a good performance with the high returns, so they can't just like randomly. And then if in the startup world, you also have the rule like 110 and 1, right? Meaning that you have to see like 100 startup, and then after that you decide to let's say like invested or think about like 10, and then one of that pick up. Like the question is that, meaning that do I have enough, like let's just say a year we plan to do 10 investment. Do I have enough like 1,000 startup in which that I can really talk and believe, or like second, third conversation with them, 100, and then I invest in 3? So that is something that we really need to think about and concern. It's a very crowded market as well. Also, we have to compete with other VC, right? Let's just say like, I mean, TopCV decide to raise like 5 million. Some VC come in and commit like, commit 4.5. So the rest of the VC will just say like, okay, 500, how to compete with each other. So yeah, I think that is a situation. Yeah.
Okay. So the challenge of VC, especially in a market like Vietnam, is that how to find, a good startup, but nobody know.
Yeah,
So
nobody.
everyone,
Yeah.
So the startup that everybody know is, I think the competitiveness is very high, right?
Yeah.
So it is your challenge, but how about the also Laura, how about the challenge of startup, especially AI startup in Vietnam? What is their challenges in your opinion?
So I think based on my experience, there are few ones. So I think that I mean, like even like us, right now everyone talking about AI, they want to invest it in GenAI and so on. But I mean, talking until you actually write a check is another story. So for example, for the startup, one is that let's just focus about let's just forget about the VC here first, but just themselves. So I think one is that how can they find the business or like the product market fit, and I think a lot of people are like trying to testing out at the moment. So many like startup try to like build some things, and then they think that they look at, hey, like today OpenAI release something, voice and so on, voice agents. So if you build on that, like you may become not relevant because of the big tech you release too fast. So because of that, like whether or not you will be able to be relevant in the next like few months. So that is like the first challenge I'm thinking about. And the second challenge is that as a photo startup yourself, AI is one thing. How good is your model is one thing. The other thing is that in order for it to go or like to work, you actually need the data. Like, do you have the data to make it happen? So, like for example, a lot of business we saw, like for example, like TopCV, because of you already have the data of the CV of people. That's why you got data to work on it. You can build something. But let's say for a startup like fresh out, do they have data? Probably not. It's okay if you don't have data, but do you have the way to find your data or like to find the source of data? Like, do you have that network, that connection, yeah, trust that people will give it to you? It is something that you really have to think about as well. And then so I think once like what I say, defensibility, right? Meaning that will you be relevant in the next 3-6 months? The second one is that do you have what it takes? Do you have the data to bring it into the application as well? And not consider about the cost, right? The cost is relatively expensive when it's come to AI. If you want to train your model, I mean, yeah, sure, Hieu. Maybe you can share the story of like how much you pay. I don't know. I generally don't know, but when we train our model, it's like really expensive without the credit, the support from like the cloud provider, right? We like, gone. But so that's why like I just think that it's something that you had to consider about. And when I'm talking about the cost, right, you really have to think about, sure, like you got the product, and then sure, like your product the customer need, then when your customer pay for it, right? Like if your customer don't pay for it, like what is the revenue model for you? Like build something cool and build startup it's need a bit more realistic, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so we should hear from you, right? From your new, I think can say new venture of AI when you spin off. I don't know, it will be new companies or just a new project. When you work right away with the VC or with angel investor from the scratch,
Yeah,
from the first step. Yeah.
I want to talk a small story about how we invest in AI and how we need money to build it. Yeah. Most startup using right now using AI to in product, but when we decide to invest in AI and build infrastructure, we choose Google Cloud. Yeah, and Google Cloud sponsor for us credit um 100K dollar. Yeah, and we plan to spend in 8 to 12 months. But after that, we spend 100K per month. After that, to build AI
Your own
model.
money.
Yeah, our own money. Yeah,
Okay.
so very expensive to talk about AI product. Yeah, is it the true story about us? So right now we need more time to optimize cost in infrastructure infrastructure to cloud
Mhm.
and build on premise. Yes.
So you see the cloud provider is the one who takes money, right?
Yeah, right
This
now
session is
we
not sponsored by any cloud provider.
yeah no sponsor right now for TopCV, but we using in Google Cloud and Amazon Web Service yeah together, yeah, to
So have you
optimize
worked
cost.
with the investor, or
Uh,
you spend your own money?
yeah.
Yes, right.
So yeah, about your question about when we build TopCV from first time or build a new startup,
The new
example, yeah,
AI, the new AI.
yeah, new AI startup. I think uh not about idea because right now we can it very easy to think about the new idea, but I think in the long-term plan, startup or us think about how we need spend money to build infrastructure for AI. I think it's very expensive, so we
Mhm.
think yeah, very consider about how we build AI product right now. You
Yeah,
you
I
know,
understand.
yeah,
That's why ChatGPT they have to raise a lot of money, right?
yeah,
Billions of dollars.
yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to TopCV. What we would like to know is that what were the key milestones, or the key moments of TopCV when you raise fund in each series or each phase? Like when you think that you need to raise, or when you think that you accept the money from the investor? Any big moments?
Yeah. I think when we build TopCV, we not think more about fundraising. Yeah, this true story. We think about how we solve the problem in industry, HR industry, how to help employer can easy to hire right people, and help to many young people in Vietnam can find the right job. Yeah, we think about more about that, not about fundraising. And in Asia ago, when we talk with VIC partner, is maybe is the first investor in TopCV. I think the key milestone because after that I think more about we need more money to scale up and grow fast more than bootstrap. I think the key milestone to change our team mindset from bootstrap to fundraising. Yeah, and when we receive fund from many VC and many I think we always try to meet and access to our goal and plan. Yeah, we we talk less and do more, and we build trust for investor and VC, and after that we can. I think it's very easy to attractive and get fund from VC after that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Laura, the next question is that how are you sourcing the startup now? So like how startup can find you?
Yeah, so tough. That's why like today, this is the second panel that I do. Make sure that the picture is out there and make sure that people know. And then you know, like the gap between is just like an hour, and then I had to go from the event just back home to the hotel immediately to make sure that I joined it. So yes, long and short, make sure that you are out there, and then so that other we know about you. But one of the thing that for us, because of what our thesis is very, we focus on specifically for the GenAI, right? So remember I told you about like 100, 10, and 1. So actually, the source is already very small. So the pool of the startup compared with other is relatively small. And then because of that, there are two things that we need to improve as well. One is that we don't wait, right? We do a lot of activity. So for example, we join with different organizations. Today we join the VIC, NIC, VSF, like Vietnam Startup Foundations, NIC as well. So that or like with the Foundation Institute, so that we make sure we let people know out there, hey, we are GenAI Fund and we're actively deploying right now. So first one, like we can't wait. And then we also have quite a number of the initiative. So one of the initiative is that we actually build a GenAI directory across ASEAN. So that with that, we basically create a database for the people who know that hey, there are list of the GenAI startup out there. And then one, if you want to be there, reach out to GenAI Fund. So your name be there, so other people can find you. Two, for the investor, they also like reach out to us so we can share with our investor too, right? So that is the second initiative. The third one we do as well, we actually do the speed dating. So we don't just like wait for the startup come to us and then say that hey, you know, here's the pitch deck, and then we play the role. Hey, sure, like valuation too high, no customer yet, no traction. Yeah, goodbye. It doesn't work that way for us. But we want to really get our hand-ons. So one of the way to get a hand-on is that we actually bring this kind of very early stage startup to talk to the VC, so that even though whether or not investment, the initiative is actually speed dating. We work with a multiple different player, in the ecosystem player, so we can bring it in, or like we make that happen. But the idea is that with that, the startup can receive the very early feedback, so they know that hey, what are you building? We saw that so many people build that, doesn't make sense. Sorry, you know, you shouldn't. Maybe you should do something. And like and Hieu just shared earlier, right? It's really expensive to build anything in AI. And then if you do it wrong, like the cost is higher than other. So that is something we want to avoid. And the last thing we want to do is that, you know, beside VC support, you also need the peer support, right? Meaning that you need the people who actually building in this space, so that they can share the idea. That's why we launched the idea called AI Working Hour, in which that each week we just bring around like 10 builder, will actually builder, so they must build something, so they can just sit together like 8 hours, just sit there, right? And then and then after that, they can either build something, add something, and then we had a mentor. So our mentor could be from AWS, could be from NVIDIA, would be there, and other as well, like we welcome. And then they can just like, if you build something and you say like, damn, like I don't know this model work or not, at least you can ask people like straight away, not like I message them and then few hours later respond and by that time you forgot about it. You know what I mean? So long and short for us is that we a bit more proactive, because we know we are on like in a niche market in a way. So we don't wait for the startup come to us. We actually go out there, and then try to search for the startup, and we're very like diligent in that in that sense. So yes, that's the way for us to sort the startup, and then yeah, join this panel, and then I mean very good deal flow already, right? Know that anh Hieu is about to do something, so
Yeah.
then reach out to him and say like, hey, do you plan to raise? Like we here, like something like that, right? Yeah. So yes, that is our way. Oh, and Giang, I think you mute yourself.
Sorry. Hieu, after you recognize that investor and VC is very important, right? And you raised your maybe first round. Were you very, very proactive, or even I can say aggressive, you know, to reach the VC world, to reach your VC partners?
Yeah, not for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So
Yeah,
the VC came to you, right?
my style focus on product and business. Yeah, so maybe VC come to us.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
in a relationship, you know what I mean? Like if the more you want someone, the more you don't get
So
it.
it means that
he
you
played
need
what is that name? Hard to get game. Like just like I don't need you. If you want, you come. Otherwise, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's advice.
Yeah.
That's why we need we say the middleman, right? Like us incubator, accelerator, you know, networking events, so that we can reach the people we need, right? If not,
Yeah.
we can hardly to reach TopCV.
Yeah, I think firstly we focus on product and business. So when we strong, more VC will come, because right now we have many VC in Vietnam and regional. So I told with more VC. And most of them says that it's very hard to find the potential and good startup to fund. Yeah. So this is why when you has grow up, the information your startup will I know that VC is a small network, and more VC talk together to find how to find the new startup, the potential startup. So I think for founder, I think we need to focus on on my job, on our jobs. Yeah, focus on business, focus on how to make product good and make revenue more than in the future. I think it's yeah.
Okay. So VC maybe not really important, right? but financial issue, finance is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we need money to do everything. So since when you started to integrate the fundraising planning, you know, fundraising plan into your business plan? Since when you think that it's important and you officially, you know, integrate into the business plan?
Sorry, is that a question for me?
I mean, for you, for TopCV.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe hard to answer, right?
No. You can repeat the question, because
So
I know you
so
asked
because I'm
me.
also a founder. So normally we try to bring our product, right? We try to run our business in the best way, but we are not trained from the beginning to integrate the fundraising plan into the business plan. I think TopCV will be the same from the beginning, from the first step. So
Yeah.
since when you started to integrate the fundraising plan into your business plan?
Yeah, I think it's the same for us, because we focus on business plan and how we can grow revenue and how we can make profit And I know that most of VC take care more about revenue and how we can scale up and make profit, not only the good idea or good team or good market. Yeah, so I think the business plan and fundraising plan is the same. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we turn to answer some questions from the audience. Okay, there's one question from Chivo. He asked us, how can startups in Vietnam align their tech innovations with VC expectations to secure funding and ensure sustainable growth, especially in fast evolving sectors like AI and online platforms? Can you see the question?
I haven't seen yet. Let me try to do right now.
Okay, so this question, I think, for Laura. So how can startup in Vietnam align their tech innovations with VC expectation?
I will say that I mean, when you're talking about like VC expectation and tech innovation, right? It sounds very fancy, but I can tell you at the end of the day, for the VC perspective, is that of how can you continue grow X5, X10, because for them it's investment, right? It's an investment that yes, I don't want to say money like that really sound very transactional, but it's an investment, and they expect that it's gonna be, I don't know, like X5, X10, X20. I don't know which category that you belong to in that portfolio, fast growth. So if you can ensure that, I say that no one gonna touch you, right? Like for example, and Hieu, do you had a hard time when you already hit your number? Probably like none of the VC is gonna chase after you, and so on.
Very,
Right?
very hard to find in either the 3 or 5 year.
Yeah. So I think having said that, right? So you don't have to align that, but you have to align in terms of like what do you commit with a VC, because at the end of the day it's a marriage, and then you already like say that hey, this is the direction that I bring the company to. And then if you decide at some point, pivot, that is very important for the startup. At some point that you decide that hey, you probably with the new trend, with the GenAI, and then my business model may not work anymore, or like may not as good as before. What happened is that two scenario. One is that either you pivoted to do something else, right? Because you may not be relevant if you stay the same. Second is that if you actually use the GenAI to integrate in your business, right? Which is like you're talking about technology innovation. So I think that it had to come from you and come from the state of the business at that point in time. So like, are you doing well still? Are you gonna be relevant still? Are you gonna still doing well in the next like 5 years? Do you have a competitive advantage? If it's not the case, right, you had a luxury to think about like what you want to do, but also if you don't, right, you have to think about how can you use the technology to meet the expectation of what you communicate or like commit at the beginnings, and at the same time is that or even you do well, you do okay, right? But like how can you like X20, right? X like 100 more with the technology, and then if you can do that, like why not, right? Because it's a benefit both of you, the startup and also the VC at the same times. So I think probably that's something you can think about from that perspective.
I think I have one point about this. This is about how to commercialize, or how your product become marketable. So I think it is the role of the incubator or accelerator like the Founder Institute, because when we try to bring to the founders mentors from VC, they will talk to each other like friends, like partners. So not yet fundraising, we just share ideas, share about products. And from the experience, from the points of view a real VC, they can adjust, their product. They can understand more about the market and about the expectation of VC, right? Because VC, I think they are not only based on the finance, but they are also being based on the market.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The next question is very, I think, interesting, and it is for Hieu. Yes. Have you, TopCV, had a time when your company was at risk of being cash strapped? Yeah, I think like all other companies are. If yes, how did you overcome, and was there any involvement by the VCs?
Yeah. We had two time to has problem with cash, and you know, when we run business, cash is king. Yeah. So this why we always focus on how we can scale up model and revenue and make profit soon. Yeah. To not depend on fundraising. And besides, we do fundraising to capture more cash to build and invest in research in the future, not focus on operation right now. Yeah. So you know, when you make revenue and profit to help you to operation for this time, and when you have fun, you can invest more in the future. Yeah. So this
Okay.
yeah, this way we do.
That's another question. I think this is a question that everybody would like to ask. You know, what are the main barriers that are preventing Vietnamese startup from reaching funding from VCs? Is there any barrier for a startup? Yeah, in your opinions, Laura, maybe from you first.
Yeah, so I think that so a few things. So let's just start from the business side first. So one is that you know, in general, for the VC, when they're looking for a startup to invest in, so they want to looking for a few key factors, right? And one of that is definitely about the founders. So the founder, did he like, does she or he had a relevant experience to build a product? And if you, I mean, anyone or any VC is gonna want to invest in a startup that can serve the really big time, right? It meaning that if you just only like, you can choose that your startup can only serve Vietnamese customer, or you can choose that your startup can serve like global customer, right? And if it's a global customer, do you have an experience like globally? Do you have a global experience that will have you to bring your company to become a global company? So because of, I think that is something that means I'm sure like most of the VC will look at that. And then I think because of that, generally for Vietnamese founder, they will probably face a bit of challenges in terms of like, do they have the global exposure, right? Do they have the relevant experience that I build the product global, like which serve the global customer, right? Or do they have the global network, like, or like just regional network that can help them to bring the solution outside the country? So I think that is something definitely it will be the question like for me as well. And then if I look at the founder, and then I have to like, you know, identify if they are, or if they had the material for that, then maybe the Vietnamese startup could be in a bit of a bit less advantage experience, and also position. And also remember I mentioned about earlier, actually the question when you previous one asked me about hey, you know, like what is the VC expectations, and you know, what is the you know, like technology innovation aligned with that. The thing is that we are in the startup world, meaning that things change very fast, technology update very fast. It's very unlikely that if you just stay in the same way you are, unless, you know, like certain, which is like super unique, like gene or something, things change very fast. And if you don't update that, you don't update yourself, you may be outdated. And if you are outdated, then and how to always keep you updated, then you need to, you know, be able to reach to, let's say, what is the latest innovation in the US? What is the latest innovation in Europe, right? Like when you be able to reach out there and get like be the first one to get that update. So this is something that and like wonder a lot about for the founder to have to think about that when it's come to VC. And then because of, I mean, compare us with Singapore, right? Singapore had like own kind of capital. The founder of Singapore travel everywhere in the world, and then they got like own kind of VC there, and they also get all of the updated as well. Like they got a lot of support, so it's just like naturally because of that they will have, it would be easier, right, for them, I would say.
Yeah. Actually, that is also what we are trying to do in Paris Institute, you know, because we are one of the biggest, can say one of the biggest accelerator in the world. We have chapters in almost 60 countries and 100 cities already. So that's, that can be a very big network for the founders who join us. And as I mentioned from the beginning, also for the mentors. Okay, Hieu, do you want to add anything about the barriers for the Vietnamese startup?
Yeah, for special industry like HR in Vietnam, when we talk with more VC in regional, most of them says that Vietnam market very quite small. Yeah, so how to build TopCV to become unicorn in the future is a very hard question, because we focus on Vietnam market, and Vietnam market is quite small. It's the truth. So this is the first barrier to reach out VC for us, and I think we need to focus on VC to understand about our industry, HR industry, and focus to reach out and make a network with them more than as a VC, because you don't suitable for all of VC. You need to choose the right VC or right fund to invest in startup. So we solve this problem from that, because you don't solve market. You need to solve our problem. Yeah, and improve your product, not improve market. Yeah, depend on the future. Yeah,
that's correct. Okay, Alex, one of our very close friend and partners, he got a good question for the Vietnamese local market. Is angel and syndicate investing become more popular in Vietnam's market? If not, are more investors opting to be LPs or GPs instead, and why? Okay, so Laura, have you got any market research about this?
This is a very tricky question, because it could lead to like some financial advice, which is like,
our friend is not in Vietnam, you know, he's in other countries, so you need to know.
Yeah, so I would say that definitely angel and syndicate is getting more and more popular. So I mean, if we're talking about like angel investor, we need to understand like why angel investment work, right? Meaning that normally angel investment work is like, let's just say, of course, like high net worth individual and so on, but a lot of the time it's actually the successful entrepreneurs who already, you know, been there, done that, they made it, and then because of that, other people come to them and ask for advice, and then they mentor this kind of group, right? And then they see the potential, and then they say like, hey, why not I just like write a first check for you so your team can start. So imagine right now, right, like a student who want to build something, a HR system, and then what they want to do, they're gonna reach out to anh Hieu and then ask anh Hieu like, anh Hieu, can you become my mentor? And then after that, he said like, sure, I'm happy to help you. And then, you know, advise. And then after that, because of TopCV is a relatively successful startup already. And then because of that, he win like, okay, he also, okay, let me write you the 50,000 check, right? Easy. So that is how normally like angel investment work beside, you know, high net worth individual, which is, I don't talk about that, but for just for the context. And in order for that model work, it means that you need to have enough the startup who already like Series B and above, who already like successful, and the entrepreneurs already made it. And then he will go back, give back, and start like mentor the younger generation. So we didn't see that in the past a lot, but we see more nowadays. And then, or like, let's say like tech angel investor, right? Because the angel investor in startup mostly like in tech. So, and because of we saw more startup coming out, which is like Series A and Series B and so on. And because of that, we see more angel investment become popular. Syndicate, I will say that you need to do a little bit of research about that. I personally don't see that too often with my experience. Having said that, because of we also had not like the VC or the investment firm here. So, but we do have a few fintech organizations who provide that kind of service, meaning that you know, as a retail investor, you don't know how, and then you can choose to invest like smaller amount with another lead investor or bigger investor, become a fellow investor. So I do see like some fintech provide that service too. In case that you wanted to reach out, I'm sure that you know, Giang know a lot of many of them. And if you need, you can reach out to me too, and I can give you some recommendation for syndicate investment. And the other one is about the VC and so on, right? And I will say that for the VC or like the investment holdings or like the family office, they need a bit more, the legal factor is going to be involved more. And if it's that the case, you should have your own legal teams, or you should work with the legal firm to work out what is the best method for you. Consider that if you're a foreigner and you want to invest in Vietnam. I would say. Hope that answered the question. But yeah, happy to have you know, or like share what I know a thing or two. If you want to take it further.
Yeah, thank you. We have about 3 or 4 minutes left. Okay, so we try to solve the last question. I think this is also a good question, and I try to have ideas from both of you. You know, so maybe we can match your ideas or not. This is from Thomas. He asked, "What would be a VC's growth expectation in Vietnam?" So Hieu, from your point of view of a founder, you know,
Yeah.
what
Sorry,
will be
VC what?
VC's growth expectation?
Growth is
Yeah. Yeah. For
Yeah. So as a founder, what do you think?
yeah, in my point of view, when we talk with VC and our investor, we not focus on VC or investor expectation. We focus on business expectation. So that's why we set the exactly what we meet a goal, what we meet a plan, and how we can make a profit. So when we talk with our investor, both of them agree with that. So we do it. Yeah. So we not focus on only chain expectation from VC or investor, because you know we have many chain in the world. So when in a day a VC or investor talk with you, we need to focus on the new trend from GenAI, yeah, for something like that, so you can change your business to the new way. I think it's not good for sustainable startup. We need to focus on plan from maybe is of 3 or 5 or 10 year, and focus to do that. Yeah, this is why we should.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about you, VC point, Laura?
Yeah, so I think that I really like what anh Hieu said just now, right? It's not like kind of if the VC come to you and say that hey, I expect you to grow like 10 times or 20 times. No, like you probably don't want to do that. It's like it sounds a lot like, you know, shark already, instead of just, you know, like a partner. You're looking for a partner, right? A partner that who can help you, can work with you, can hold hand, can join you, can be there when things go south, or like on the rainy days. So you want something like that. And me having said that, it means that you need to sit down between the VC and the startup, and then, you know, what sector you are. Like you expect like 20 times growth, right? When you in a certain sector or like certain vertical that you see the growth like, you know, 7 or 10% per year, then you expect that a startup can grow like 100%. Doesn't make sense, right? So I will say that it depends on the sector, vertical, and then you need to sit down with the VC and the startup, so you can come out with the what is the, you know, growth expectations here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We need to stop now, right? Okay, we spent already a very high quality 1 hour, you know, for the audience, and our discussion was recorded, you know, and will be sent to all the audience and all the people who have already registered to join. We have about almost 70 people who registered, and it will be saved and sent to the network of Founder Institute. So I think that we will have, you know, another session very soon to talk to you about other subjects, because it is very lucky that we have you as mentors, not just panelists. Yeah, so I hope to work with you further, more than just talking. Okay, so see you very soon, Hieu and Laura, and have a very good evening. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting it, and I wish your next event successful.
Thank you.
That's a good event today too. Good to see you, anh Hieu, and really hope that we can hear more about what you're building. It's already very exciting.
Yeah.
Coffee soon, Hieu and
You
Laura.
are welcome. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, cool.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.